This is William Ford-Conway of WAFCstudios.com. Today I wanted to do a different type of episode rather than my podcast. Lots of pictures, but lots of audio of me talking on the video game Mass Effect 3. I just got finished playing the game, and I love the whole game. It's one of the most cinematic game series I've ever played, and easily has gone to the top, not top of my list, but in the best video games that I personally enjoy. But the thing I want to talk about is the much heated debate on the ending. Now, let me point out that I'm usually always behind on playing the Mass Effect games. I didn't even know the Mass Effect series really existed until earlier on this year, in which I instantly fell in love with it. It was immediately the game I was looking for in terms of being able to create your own story, make your own choices, and even all the sci-fi elements of it were just everything I was looking for in a game. So I had played 2 around the time that 3 had come out, and I had just finished 3. So obviously I was around during the buzz of how terrible this ending allegedly was, and how I didn't hear much about it because I tried to avoid spoilers like the plague, but I just heard all the controversy surrounding the ending. So I just finished the game today, mind you, and I had a little bit of time to percolate. Again, like I said, I will easily say that Mass Effect 3 is a little bit on par with 2, but I really thoroughly enjoyed the entire game overall. Let's go down the list. The first major problem that I've seen people have is the actual character of the Catalyst. A lot of people have claimed, or even rightly so, that the Catalyst really is a plot point as opposed to an actual viable character, or even a plot device, a Deus Ex Machina, if you will, that kind of explains everything that kind of wasn't set up, and even leads to a bit of a plot hole in which BioWare, the company of the game, just created this aspect to wrap up the story as quickly as they could. My feeling on the Catalyst is that I actually kind of do like the Catalyst as a character, as a plot point, as a plot device, what have you. But I really do like the aspect that that there was another force behind the Reapers. I do enjoy that. I will agree that it was kind of a little heavy-handed when they revealed it, but I'll be a little honest here. I don't feel like the actual Catalyst and what its meaning came out of nowhere. From what I felt in the entire game, there was constant talk, almost to the annoying level to me, of them saying, "Oh, there's this Catalyst, and we don't know what it is." But either way, they had mentioned it throughout the whole game, and the fact that nobody knew what it was. So, to be fair, finding out what it was and how grand it was actually made sense why nobody knew what it was. Also, to me, the Catalyst kind of fits in with the entire story of what was going on. Here are the Reapers, which are a race that nobody knows anything about. Even when they first appeared in the Mass Effect series, everybody thought they were ships, or that Sovereign, the original Reaper in the first Mass Effect, was a ship and not even an individual being. I mean, these are creatures that even in the universe that they set up, nobody hardly knows anything about and didn't even believe existed until their invasion in 3. Not much talk I've heard about why, in fact, the Catalyst takes the shape of a little boy. And I get that the little boy is a semi-metaphor in Shepard's life for the loss and sacrifice, which is a point in the game that I didn't care for. If you really wanted to get creative, you could have had it take the shape of the opposite gender Shepard, because that character kind of doesn't exist depending on what gender you choose. If you chose the male Shep, could have taken the shape of the default femme Shep, or vice versa. So the Catalyst is actually a thumbs up for me. I'll give it a thumbs up. I don't mind the Catalyst. There's also been a big complaint on the aspect of choice, which is a huge element in Mass Effect. But I've actually heard that the problem in this game is the limited choice. To me, these are actually very interesting, viable options. Because any other way, it would just be, if you really wanted to get in the character, it would just be, okay, either A, you destroy the Reapers, in which you complete the entire point of what you've been fighting for, or B, you just don't destroy them. You say no, in which case you're a dick. Before I go on, I feel that the endings and the aspect of sacrifice are well done within the game, I thought, in the endings in which Shepard either combines with the catalyst or synthesizes him or herself or even kills himself. They're all, I think, story-wise and even cinematically, and even with the score, which throughout the game is really good, are done well. But I think the game's problems, even for me, arrive within these last few moments of the game. The one aspect I don't like is that there really is no clear there's no clear ending in which Shepard can survive. While I do like the aspect that the mass relay system gets destroyed, and I really do like that that's a sacrifice of several, really all the endings, but to me there also should have been options in which the Mass Effect relays don't get destroyed, and the galaxy and all the places in the universe are still connected. I would have liked that, even though I do prefer my ending in which the mass relays are destroyed. The fact that there wasn't an option to keep them functional was kind of dumb to me. There also creates the plot hole, or not plot hole, just weird aspect that all those races and fleets are stuck in Earth's system. I don't know how that's going to work, and I noticed that when I played the game. There's also a really weird plot hole that really defies Joker, the pilot's character, when he flies Shepard's ship, the Normandy, away from the battle, and he seems to be escaping. But I'm able to let that slide, because this next part where they land on a foreign planet is really, really weird and doesn't make sense. You honestly could have had them land on Earth and give them a little bit of dialogue, and that would have made a lot more sense. Or, to be honest, for me, you could have just ended the game on Shepard when he or she dies, because I realize that the game ends abruptly, but to me, you're Shepard through the whole game. You live through their decisions, and once he or she dies, the game is over for you. But I still would have liked to have a little bit of that dialogue on who exactly survived, and what they have to say about you after you die. There's also some really weird flashes of memories of characters that you've seen, but I only got Joker, Anderson, and Liara, and I was like, are these characters that died, or are they important to me? If that's the case, why don't I see flashes of my relationship, of Commander's relationship? And they really just kind of missed the ball on that one. Where the really stupid part comes in is the post-credit scene with the Stargazer. I mean, congrats, Buzz Aldrin, that you're in this and in Transformers Dark of the Moon, but really, what point does that character have? We've played this character of Shepard through 2 or 3 games. We know that they're a legend. We don't need one more scene to say, oh, throughout all this time, they were a legend, and explain that scene. I know I'm kind of a hypocrite because I defended Prometheus for not explaining anything, but that was kind of the point of that movie, and here they just kind of threw that in to reiterate a point that we already knew. We get it. To me, the ending really suffers with that last little moment of Joker's of the Normandy crashing, and you could have easily wrapped it up in just that and make it a little bit more meaningful. I'm willing to let all the other stuff about them being trapped in the Sol system, or to me, a limited choice, which I don't think is limited, but if you had just expanded and gave a little bit more emotional closure to that ending scene when the Normandy crashes, then it would have just been a lot better. And that's, to me, that's the specific area where the ending drops the ball. So, but also in the ending's defense, though, I think that all the choices they made and where the ending actually led up to was well within the parameters of where the story was heading. I think they really set up everything, and it was just a matter of executing how they ended it. If they had written it a little bit better and even connected some of the points that they had made from earlier in the game. Again, it's not the actual ending and the story point that they were making. It was more of just, okay, here's our ending. How can we connect the decisions that I've made to even get that ending? You really don't have to change the major event. Besides, I think, adding an ending in which Shepard survives. But in the end, the one thing I have to say is that I don't understand the massive hate that the ending is getting. Even with everything I've said, I don't think that the ending and therefore the game deserves all that, because a lot of what's going on in the ending would kind of criticize the rest of the game. And I will reiterate, this is one of the best video gaming experiences I have had. It's one of easily the most emotional experience I've had, up to Morden's decision on how to cure the genophage, or my personal favorite story is the Geth and the Quarian story, which literally got me really emotional, and I really, really did enjoy it. And all that kind of stuff, and even the decisions a little bit in the story, I just like so much, and I don't think that the game falters on a grand scale in my eyes just because of that meh ending. And the last point that I'll make a comment on is everybody saying that all the decisions that you've made in the past couple games don't really reflect in the ending. To me, I don't think that they need to. I think that a lot of your decisions in Mass Effect 2 and even through Mass Effect 3 affect the story, the main story of getting together these fleets and how and what you can do about that, because there's a lot of stuff in which those two games are interconnected about whether you have the ability to do this, who you talk to, and what relationship they have with you. I think that was all great. The decision on how to deal with the universe is its own completely different decision in my eyes, but to be honest, I can see people's frustration with they wanted that connected, and I think that's where the writing came in. Will at least have me keeping the collector base decide that, oh, we have the information where you can control the Reapers. There, simple line of dialogue that connects it somehow. To me, the Mass Effect ending is a double-edged sword. The game itself is still high on my list of best video games I've ever played. And there are things I like about it, and I think there are things that the game is justified for doing. On the other hand, there's just so many things, especially in the writing and the connecting of plot elements, and just like that last scene that they could have done so much more with to make it the grand ending that we wanted. But, I think the rest of the game really speaks for itself as a gaming experience. But, again, that's just me. Anyway, my name is William Ford-Conway from WAFC Studios. Please click on the link right here to see my entire review of the Mass Effect 3 game, not just the ending, the entire game. Go to here for a podcast, my own WAFC Studios podcast, or click here to just see my website where you can find shorts, little short films, and other links that you may find interesting. So anyway, that's me, and that's a wrap.